All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Friday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And ready to get back to it. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll start from the top here. Volatility index of VIX below 19, down about 7.62%. We have a gap to fill on the VIX, guys. Just want to give that heads up here. So, possible short squeeze today. You know, when you have financials up and oil up, we had a nice payroll report up. You got a gap to fill right there, guys, at 16.14. So we may get that VIX smash algo program or something, or at least fill this gap here at 16.66. Ooh, we're going to keep an eye and see what we can do. So the week is not over. We could always take a look at trades for next week expiry. Dollar index is up about 0.27% this morning, 101.66. 3.462% on a 10-year Treasury yield due to that NFP. Maybe we get another rate hike from the Fed. Dow futures up 204 points, NASDAQ up 0.58%, S&P up 0.77. The Russell leading the way with regional banks bouncing 1747, up 1.35%. Crude oil up 2.5%. I guess demand is okay for now, but we did bounce off a key level on crude oil. Let's take a look at it. The key level here, guys, and you remember we talked about this yesterday, was the 200 weekly MA. That's the exact same level we bounced earlier this year, right around February, where we hit that top of the S&P range, where we hit 4206, the 100-week moving average on S&P futures. But you can see that we're bouncing now off that 200 week. That is the same setup that we had for the S&P on the October lows. We wicked below that, but again, that was our thesis. That was our support. That's where we called the bottom. So are we near a bottom on crude oil? That really depends on one big thing, and that is the dollar. If the dollar does break below $100.73, then we're going to go ahead and see that 98 to 100 zone. That should give you enough momentum to get crude oil back above 80. And the reason I say that is because crude oil is priced into dollars when we trade it. So again, weaker dollar, all things being equal in terms of supply and demand, crude oil should go higher. We do have a little bit of a cross between the 50 and the 100. The 50 breaking below the 100 would not be a great thing to see. Not exactly a death cross either, but the death cross is on the daily as well. So we need that to get back up. So again, we're just here near support. We could probably get to around 61.95. Again, if we get a firmer dollar, maybe a little more of a hawkish Fed. Most banks are pricing in rate cuts. I don't know why. I don't think we'll get rate cuts this year unless something breaks. Unless a big money center, goes under or something like that, or has liquidity problems. But I don't expect much. And remember, the Treasury also announced some kind of liquidity program, aka, more printer stuff, right? So with that being said, they also have that liquidity as well. So that's something that the Treasury has put out there. It's regarding buying Treasury bonds. It's a whole nonsense. It's the same thing, guys. It's QE. But again, right here on crude oil, right around that 62 area, that should get us to right under that 200-week MA. Yep, right under it, right to here, 61, and you're still within that 200-week MA. So I think energy has a little more downside, and I'd probably be short oil, and I would expect us to retest that bounce unless we get the dollar to break down. Gasoline futures are up as well, $2.36. Gold futures. Now this is a good one. Gold futures, we rejected that multi-year high, 3-year high, excuse me, 2089. We are now at 2017. Keep an eye below 2000. If we break below 2000, we can play the 1923 level. It would be a little bit of a swing, but again, that would be the assumption of a firmer dollar or a better stock market or bank issues kind of subside on the weekly chart. So let's go to the daily, and we can see that the 20-day moving average, again, our momentum indicator, is about to break. So keep an eye on the 2000 zone. We'll probably keep an eye on that for futures trade. You can use micro gold futures if you want, and we can test that 50-day moving average and try to gain about 40 points. So I like that setup. We'll probably talk about that over the weekend. Silver futures down about 1.5% this morning. Copper down about 0.39. Euro dollar down 32 pips. With the firmer dollar, dollar yen is bouncing 134.89. Bitcoin is up as well, 0.33%. $2 billion in revenue from Block, which is Square, on Bitcoin. So well done to Square. 1910 for Ethereum this morning. Let's answer some questions. Good morning, Zoom Balloon. Trevor's asking, good morning, Carlos. Got a few SPY 406 May 9th calls. Taking some at the open. What do you recommend for stops and profit on the rest? Okay, let's go and take a look at it. Well, we are now at 408, so you'll be in the money. I would say as long as you can stay above your in the money strike, I would take half and leave it running. Leave a little bit, at least a couple of runners. I think you get above that 409, 4010 level. It looks like with the VIX, Trevor, that we're going to get a little more upside unless that 50 holds on the hourly. But there's a gap to fill again here, right here on this chart here, 1667 and 1615. So we may get a little more downside. I think if we break below 18, that would confirm the move. And then the S&P will really start cooking and pretty much just end up where we expected before, 4150 S&P. This is where I went long again. I went long at 4100. We got to 4118. 4120 was I was going to slide the stops. We did not. We got stopped out yesterday. So pretty much flat on the week in terms of S&P 500 futures. Let's take a look at DraftKings this morning. 2442. They are having their conference call right now. Interesting enough, we have the 22.5 strike. So we're going to catch that this morning. Well done, guys. I thought we were going to get to 25. We got to 24.65. Maybe we get a little more before the bell, but we do have the 22.5 calls. We're deep in the money now. I went ahead and sent out a note to the Discord channel for premium to let them know, hey, you know, just a heads up that you may want to close your position again if you're busy and what have you. So the problem is I don't know what the premiums will bring. Could we get 100%, 200%? Maybe if the demand is really high. But I don't have a calculation on where we would be exactly. I know it'll be green, which is great because we really didn't trade much this week. In terms of Apple, Apple had their earnings. I thought it was pretty good. $90 billion worth of stock buybacks. That's enough to give Apple a jolt of 2%. The problem is that I have the 175 calls, and that just wasn't enough. The problem is that we broke out of 170.32, wanted to play momentum. FOMC came and nuked it. And then earnings got us back to where we were pre-FOMC. So just chop. We'll see if we break above 171.38. Maybe Apple gets ignited as we get that trek to 41.50 with a VIX pullback. That remains to be seen. I still have those Apple calls. They are expiring today, so that theta burn is going to be terrible. Good morning, Carlos. Now Apple calls are break even. Usually at open goes red, so I don't know. I just sold an open and Savage. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're break even because I have the 175 calls, not the 170s. Only regret here is that I should have gone a little closer to the strike. But look at this. It just was choppy. We just got ran over. The good news, at least I can say, is that right before the FOMC, I did send out a note to the members. We were green 2%. I said, listen, if you're a little worried about FOMC, you want to go ahead and close up on Apple here or peel back some positions. So again, at least people had the option to close. It's not like we just opened and we got railroaded right at the open. It was just chop. Nothing you could do. That's why we didn't trade much this week. Thanks. I was looking at 410. I'll let out two runners, but I'll save one after for the dream. If you want to look at AMD2, I got May 19th calls, minor profits. I actually did AMD puts for earnings, and I got it, the 80 puts, and I did not hold them. I think I got I think it was 70%. It wasn't even that great, but it was a huge move. Got to 81. I've already closed that position. Again, I bought a little bit. And then we bounced to 91 on that Microsoft earnings. Microsoft report with AMD, which is on our Twitter. Has anything here really changed regarding AMD? No, not yet anyways. If we start breaking above 88 or so, yeah, maybe we could talk about going a little higher, but I would say 89 being that 20-day moving average. Give me $3 more, and then I'll keep an eye on AMD and see if we can get back to that 92, 95 zone. We still have that gap to fill on the daily. I still think that we get there. It just seems that the 100-day moving average is a key support level for the bulls on AMD. And AMD is a fine company. AMD, what happened yesterday was a Microsoft headline that they'll be providing the chips, I believe, for some AI. But again, let me see if I can get that headline for you. AMD, Microsoft. Collaborating with an AI, that's it. AMD jumps on a report that Microsoft is collaborating on AI chip push. Microsoft is working with AMD on an artificial intelligence chip that carries the code named Athena. According to Media Report, AMD is receiving financial support from Microsoft, the report said. This came out yesterday right around 145. So that's how fast things change. Imagine you're short based on a technical basis on this gap fill for what, for example, you had puts. and one headline changes it. There was a headline on this Western bank from Financial Times, and it was fake. They even came out and said, hey, this is not real. We're not selling our bank, or we don't have any issues. And that still moves the market. So even the SEC is talking about market manipulation with social media and obviously, and news outlets that's removing the stock. That's moving the stock. So they're really pressing on the short sellers, according to the SEC. That's what came out on Bloomberg. But in that aspect, I mean, we know that. We know this game is rigged. Let's be real. It's a rigged game, but the key is that knowing how they rig it, and then you can profit from it. And unfortunately, I wish it was fair, but it just isn't. There's just some things about the market that just makes no damn sense. And that's okay, because that's what makes a market. It's a human market, and it's back and forth with different ideas. So that's where we are today. Let's see where DraftKings goes. Maybe we get that little push to 25 right at the bell, and then we can cash that in. Hopefully DraftKings is enough to offset the loss on Apple and make us green for the week, but really just 2 trades this week. Was a gauntlet, but it was so much chop. So again, it's better to be careful, not give anything away. So we'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo. If you plan to go out and have fun, make sure, please don't drink and drive. I know when it comes to Cinco de Mayo, I like to throw back some tequila shots. Maybe I'll have some with Nick later today. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys later on today, actually. I will be doing the market recap. We'll go over the trades of today. We'll preview the week. I'll do that today right around after the close, 4:30 to 5 o'clock. And that'll be posted later today. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll see you soon on later today at 5. Cheers.